You just got your asses whipped by a bunch of goddamn nerds. Nerds!
We have returned. Welcome back. If you are new to the channel and you like watching and listening to two bros just talk shit about shows, bars, please do us a favor, like, subscribe, turn on the notifications, so every time we drop something, you are well aware of it and you're alerted to it. And thank you for the support so far. We're at 26 subscribers, looking to build more. But here we are again talking about Peacemaker. And this one is episode 3 of season 2, another Rick up my sleeve. And there's been speculation regarding Rick Flag Jr. making an appearance. And that's the benefit of the multiverse. You can bring people back to life. You see what happened with Peacemaker. He goes to this alternate universe and everything is roses for him. His brother's alive, and you go back to season 1. The history of Peacemaker is that he killed his own brother. So it's we see that he's starting to a lot of mistakes can be corrected in another universe. So he's faced with this where he can go through this portal in his house, and he ends up in this universe where everything is fantastic. Everything is like ideal for him. And he even used the phrase a couple of times in this episode, best universe ever. So, but going back to that, not to get off track, but we start off with Rick Flag Jr., who was killed by Peacemaker in the Suicide Squad movie, not to be confused with Suicide Squad movie, which came out before. The Suicide Squad movie was directed by James Gunn. First time we were introduced to Peacemaker. Probably a character I would say a majority of people did not know about. Of course, real comic book heads would, but not a lot of people would know about him. Look, he was a character in that movie. Now he's got season 2 of his own show. It's insane, the run that. And then, of course, having John Cena play him absolutely helps because he's one of the most popular wrestlers out there. But Booba, we start out with, obviously, in the alternate universe where Rick Flag Jr. is alive, and he's with
Harcourt. Well, can we go back a little bit, Pete? I have to recognize that they acknowledged the first Suicide Squad movie because they were talking about the witch.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was the day before he left to the mission where he died. To bring that all the way back, to have us have that connection, Harcourt must know Peacemaker killed her love interest. And I think going into it now in this episode, when we talk about Flag in the new universe and Harcourt, but of course, Peacemaker doesn't know about that history of maybe why Harcourt is having some resentment towards him. But to have that come full circle and then have, him, Flag, still a love interest, kind of clumsy in a sense in this other alternate universe, man, I have to tell you that it was crazy to see Peacemaker seeing Flag again as well. That was absolutely crazy because he was fumbling over his words, pretty much how I'm doing right now as well. But it was crazy to see all of that come full circle. The other Flag with Harcourt and this new universe Flag with Harcourt, but it's not as serious in that sense. Again, the direction, the way they did everything, acknowledging everything in the past to come, with another Rick up my sleeve, because there's another Rick in another universe that also is a love interest and also is not a fan of Peacemaker. What a joke, right? As he stated as well. But man, the flashback and then the new universe with Flag, I thought it was genius writing. It made sense. There was no stretching in the sense of having another Flag in there as well. I thought it was the best dimension ever.
It's funny how he sees that it's an ideal. Everything is ideal. His dad is not, a jerk. His dad is alive. His brother's alive. They're doing well. They're all three of them. They're a team, and Hardcore is not like kind of repulsed by him, how she is from in her universe. So he's kind of like living somebody else's life, even though it's him. It's his doppelganger. He's living somebody else's life because he doesn't like the universe that he's in.
Hardcore, he got flashed. What more can you want than that?
I mean, yeah, he was on his way to Argus, which was funny. He's saying pop quiz to his brother to find out where he has to go.
I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna use that one day. Be like, yo, pop quiz.
And he's like, yo, what's wrong with you, bro? Like, that was funny. That was funny.
I don't make the rules.
That was funny. So what did you think of the peace cycle?
With the missiles on it.
Missiles on the front and speakers on the back to bump his music.
Shout out to Tony, my neighbor, he actually does. I've seen these customized bikes. He competes in these customizable bikes. And I think you helped him one day with one of those bikes. So I've seen these type of things. To have speakers with missiles, the priorities are all over the place when it came to that bike. Listen, it was dope. I'm gonna say it. It was dope. It was a dope bike.
The helmet, everything was cool. You see people's reaction to him. They love him, and that's when he uttered the phrase "best universe ever." He's the man. Everything is great for him. He's about to get with Hardcore, who he loves. He loves her. When she's talking in the other universe, out of bio, she's like, she's trying to make a case for him, like, yo, he's in love with you. And here he's in a universe where it's kind of like everything he wants is there. And look, he's riding his bike down the street. Everybody's in love with him, like you said. He got flashed. The little kid sees him, starts crying because Peacemaker acknowledged him. It's just everything is great. Fast forward to when, the text that he was finding, he went to the other dimension because he's texting Hardcore because he wants to, he's dying for that relationship to work. So that's where it works. That's where he goes. Of course, he's living somebody else's life. He can, because whose life he's living is not even there. He's dead. He killed him. So he can step in and have this relationship that he's been craving. And she agrees to meet with him. Your thoughts on what happened then?
No, listen, like I said earlier, I can understand now why Hardcore has a kind of a distaste for Peacemaker because of the Rick Flag Jr. situation.
Wait a minute. So you're saying in his real universe, she was with Rick Flag?
Yeah, that's how it opened up. So,
no,
let's say this. The way I took it, I'm going to say this. The way I took the show, when they first opened up, he was going to go to the mission, right? With, whatchamacallit, with
the Suicide Squad.
With Harley, Boomerang, all that stuff. They showed us that morning of. Correct. They showed us the morning of. So she was with Rick Flag in the real universe that I'm gonna call it the crap universe for Peacemaker.
That's the alternate universe.
The perfect universe.
That's the perfect universe.
The one that Rick Flag when she woke up?
Yes, that's the perfect, because they were going to work. She didn't have the scar on her eye.
But she didn't have the scar on her eye, but that was prior to everything that happened.
That was
and I read it wrong. I read it absolutely wrong.
Yeah,
I read it absolutely wrong.
Perfect universe.
Yeah, if that was the perfect universe,
Wait a minute. There was a time stamp at the beginning. What did it say?
3 years before.
Okay. So she knows absolutely that he killed him.
Right, because she was in the Suicide Squad movie, remember? She was behind the cameras, behind the computers. So it was her, Economos, the other chick that was in Superman that hit Waller in the back of the head. She was in Superman as well. Because she was the head of Argus after that fumble on the Suicide Squad. But then she got fired, and that's when Rick Flag Sr. came in to be in position.
So I gotta watch it again. I may
have. And listen, it's for me when it first came on, it said 3 years before.
Yes,
and that's when the Suicide Squad movie came out. Yeah. So in that sense, she was with Harcourt in both universes, but she was deeper in love with Rick Flag Jr. in the crappy universe for Peacemaker, which is again. Yeah. For those that are not understanding it and that are watching the show as well, it can get confusing because it took me a minute to kind of like, okay, let me kind of put one and one together so I can make sense of all this. But yeah, so because that Rick Flag Jr. was pretty confident, was like, yeah, I'm in love with this. I have this girlfriend who's a witch, and she could put a hole in the universe. So I have to appease her, but even though you're kind of my side piece, I like to be with you.
Yeah, gotta watch this one again. I thought I was pretty lined up with it, and now I'm seeing that I'm not.
But does it make sense now in that sense? Why Harcourt in this crappy universe despises him? Like, she knows. One thing about Harcourt, she's not an idiot. While she may have this complex of masculinity and wants to fight all the time and wants purpose for her life, she despises Peacemaker because she knows that Peacemaker killed her love.
Well, I don't get the despise part because she's hanging out with him. If she despises him, she's not hanging out with him.
Cool.
So that's what's throwing me off is that okay. I get now if it was in fact that she was with Rick Flag Jr., I get that. But if she knows that he killed him, she's not hanging out with him. She's not giving him the time of day.
Well, I guess I will rewatch the episode again. This is right after the show, guys. This is right after the show, guys. This is live and direct feedback on this conversation piece, and this is the same conversation piece that me and Pete would have had over the phone. You get to witness all this right now as that actually happens. But I think we're two Rick Flag Juniors, two different dimensions.
Yeah, I got it. So just to finalize this. I was on the side of where this is the best universe ever. That's where Harcourt is with Rick Flag. And I understand that 3 years ago may have thrown me off, but I thought they were in that current day in the best universe ever. That's how I took it. But a rewatch is definitely in store because I'm confused as hell right now. But I get this is what's needed because, James Gunn kind of has to clean up what was with the stuff with Zack Snyder and Jason Momoa as Aquaman and Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I get that. That has to be cleaned up.
Listen, but, if we get any cleanup, I need to clean up this whole metal duck.
So once we get this Rick Flag situation cleared up, they are they are ordering an assault on Peacemaker's home because they realize he has that dimensional rift in his home, and this is Argus. This is quote unquote like the government. This is like S.H.I.E.L.D. and Marvel. They're trying to regulate these things, and they want and they have to put an end to this. He's been under surveillance, and of course, our man Tim Meadows makes an appearance. And of course, 20 seconds of screen time. He He again, amazing, just amazing. He felt betrayed because they're taking advantage of his disability, his bird blindness. They told him it was a duck. He's finding out it was an eagle. But that
He said he did it on purpose. He told
and
it was some talk.
he said, "Was it funny? Yes."
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome addition to this show. Awesome addition. So when they get to the truck, they're preparing for this assault. Economos opens the van, and who's there?
Oh, my guy, little guy. What's his name again? I forget his name right now.
His name is Judo Master.
Judo Master, man. And he says, "Hey, fatty." But Pete, can we go back a little bit? Can we go back and talk about the Sons of Liberty? Isn't that the same group that was in Creature Commandos? The Sons of Liberty?
Could be. That's a good point. Yes. So if they were, again, this is James Gunn kind of playing with his toys. He's getting everything together. We already saw from anime. We already saw the first crossover from animation was Rick Flag Sr. We discussed that last time. His hair being white in the animated version and it's black in the live action version. But yes, that's a good point. We were getting to that because remember we hadn't gotten to Hardcore and Peacemaker's conversation, and that happened right after that.
Right. Sorry about that. I apologize.
No.
I jumped ahead.
That's cool. But yeah, their Judo Master is making an appearance.
I like Judo Master.
He's coming back. He's back in the fold. We'll definitely see him next episode if you watch the coming attractions for the following episode. But we'll get to where Pooba's at now. Is where Pooba was taking us was the conversation between Hardcore and Peacemaker is interrupted by what was their name?
The Sons of Liberty.
So they're terrorizing this building. I believe it was it a bank, or I know there was a pet store in that same building, but
it looked like an office building. I don't know. It could have been a bank. I would lean on a bank, but it was something else that they wanted to. It was something else. I don't know what it was. To be honest,
they attacked. They made an attack on this building. They were looking to blow it up with these insane looking explosives that they had spread across the floor. But we go away from Peacemaker. So before that, Peacemaker and Hardcore are having a real heart-to-heart about they're looking into their relationship. They're seeing if they want to rekindle what they had. But they're interrupted by this because one of the guys carrying the explosives trips and falls on the explosives and blows himself up. So that's what kind of caught their attention to what was going on. Peacemaker goes into action, and we do see some pretty good action with him against this terrorist group.
I love this episode because of that.
Yeah.
I love this episode because of that. I did have a question on there, and I don't know if the Peacemaker in this the best dimension ever, if that particular Peacemaker, if his suit gave him his powers, because they had made a mention goes he doesn't have a suit on.
They did say that.
So I don't know if that Peacemaker, being that Peacemaker in this other universe, pretty much is built like a rock and things of that nature, and he did everything on his own. Did this other Peacemaker in the best dimension ever? Did he need a suit to make himself feel strong? I don't know that. But I did pick that up, and there was something particular. That why would they say that? Why would they drop that egg if it didn't mean anything? But I agree with you. The axe to the head.
He said it off.
The axe to the head, and then he took it out, and they just show it. They did no holds barred. Show him his split open, and he's like, "What happened?" The guy was so confused because he just had an axe to the head. Man, and he's doing all this in his tight leather pants and that shirt. Come on.
We wanted to see this, but as far as the suit giving him his powers, I know his helmet does have some abilities, but I go back to the interview in the first with the Justice Gang in the first episode when he said, I'm considered, some consider me the finest marksman in the world. I just think he's very proficient in hand-to-hand combat. I don't really think he has any powers, but I would say this: Who's Who is where I first saw Peacemaker. The comic book series Who's Who was like an encyclopedia for characters in the DC universe. That is where they'll break down what his abilities are, and if he has any powers whatsoever, or if he's just a vigilante who does have a certain like Brian Mills in Taken, he has a certain set of skills. We'll find out about that. We'll fact check that. But it was a great scene. It was towards the end. His brother ends up coming out to stop the getaway helicopter that was there to take them out, but he killed all of them. He bodied them all.
That was crazy.
And in pretty spectacular fashion. It wasn't a boring episode, but he's gonna revisit his situation with Harcourt. That's coming up. I would say we'll see more of that in the next episode. And we'll see what happens when they roll up on his house, because, they're going after him because of what he possesses in his house.
And what is up with the Eagle Killer?
Oh, that's a good point. And it's funny. And look, I'm not fanboying over James Gunn. I do like the fact that he does use a lot of the same people that he's worked with before. And I think there's trust there, because it's easier to say, yeah, I worked with him before and he's great. I'm gonna bring him onto this project because I know what I'm getting, as opposed to somebody who I don't know what I'm getting. So Michael Rooker plays the Eagle Killer. He played Yondu in Guardians of the Galaxy. He's been around forever, this guy, and also in The Walking Dead. But I can go on and on of where he's.
I love Michael Rooker. Love Michael.
Yeah,
Rooker.
he's actually been one of the best scenes, and in his very young career, Mississippi Burning. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, guys. Watch that. That's real acting there for Michael Rooker. Great
acting all around.
Probably one of his best acting roles.
Great acting all around. He's got a smaller role. The main guys are Willem Dafoe and Gene Hackman, but great movie there, just to bring up, just to expand on what Michael Rooker has on his resume. But that's it for episode 3 of Peacemaker season 2. Puba, final thoughts on this episode and the series going forward.
It's funny, yeah, but you almost got titties killed.
Was it funny? Yes.
No, the show again, way better. This episode aligns with episode 1. Episode 2 wasn't that great. Episode 3 takes me back on that high. I have no clue why he had a hangover, and still at the end of the day, he still was drinking his whiskey at the end of the night. I'm not drinking after a hangover, but it's a phenomenal show. I'll be honest with you, in the sense of, if you took The Boys and you took DC and you smashed them together, that's what Peacemaker is. That's what I get from Peacemaker. I am enjoying the show so far. I can't wait to see the cameos. I know they mentioned that they wanted to talk to someone in Belle Reve. I'm still waiting for that. I heard that Superman might make an appearance here. So I'm all in. I'm all in on this Peacemaker. I'm all in on Tim Meadows.
Always.
Let me ask you a question. If they did a comedy show, TV series on Tim Meadows' character, would you watch it?
I mean, of course. I think, look, the small bits that we've gotten so far, he's been showstopper, front and center. He's stealing the scene, every scene that he's in, with just his delivery for me. And I put a description of one of the funniest things I've seen from him in the last episode. But I'm a fan, so of course I'm gonna watch it. And that's what I think a lot of these actors now, like, and we'll bring up Pedro Pascal. Why is he in everything? You know why? Because people watch what he's in. People were upset that he was killed in The Last of Us in the second episode. People were upset, and they're like, why would you take off the most popular character? People did not want to watch after that, even though it was mimicking the game, and I get that. But why is he in everything? Because people watch what he's in. He brings people to watch what he's in. If Tim Meadows, if I'm enjoying the little time he's had so far, of course I'm watching a series with him.
But to end my comment, I'll say this. I do like the fact that the Peacemaker uniform in the best dimension ever, the dove is up. And the crappy one, the dove points down. I'm not sure if people point.
Let's check that out. We'll have to double check that. But no, that's a good point. That's a good.
The dove is up in the perfect universe, and in Peacemaker, and I guess in our universe, the crappy universe, the dove is going down. So just keep an eye on that as well. Again, just small bits and pieces that I'm noticing, comments and mentions. I don't think it gets better for Peacemaker moving forward in the crappy universe, because he's about to fight the government. He's not about to let Eagly die.
He's wanted.
So he's going to fight the government. It's probably going to get recorded. Everyone has a camera nowadays, and it's going to look like Peacemaker's going against the government in that universe. So it doesn't look good. And I would have just left, closed it off, and just stay in that universe. I mean, I probably would take Eagly with me.
I think you have to.
I probably would take Eagly with me. But beyond that, I don't know if, Vigilante will be sad because I haven't seen Vigilante's character in the perfect universe. But I don't know. You got me, questioning every little bit of piece, and that's the kind of show that I like. It is the kind of show that I can't wait to see what's next week. This is the type of show where people may not watch because they just want to binge through it. But getting this in bits and pieces of it, I'm enjoying the meal. I'm definitely enjoying the meal. Can't wait for the dessert.
Yep. So that's all that we have for episode 3. We will see you next week after episode 4. Again, James Gunn, it looks like he's trying to tie all this up together. Next week is the midway point, and we will return.
The worst episode ever.